guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'll be showing us how to cut and sew the blouse I posted for us. Yeah, so it's a very simple tutorial. So I have my folded paper here. You can actually cut this down directly on your fabric if you want to. I just like to do this on pattern paper, for tutorial sake. So I will use one of the paper for the front and one for the back. Okay. So this paper, I'm going to be using this to explain the upper part of the bodice. Okay, so this line here is going to serve as my shoulder line. Okay, this is my center front, right? So on the shoulder line, the first thing you want to mark is your neck width. So this, I'm working with 3 inches here. For a plus size, you can do 3.5. So from the center front to here, this is my neck width. Then the next thing I want to measure is my across back or my shoulder measurement. So I'm using 7.5 inches. So neck width, shoulder measurement. Then all down here, you want to measure half of your nipple to nipple measurement, which is also called bust span. Nipple to nipple measurement. So mine is 8. So half of this will be what? 4. So once I get that, I'm going to link this my nipple to nipple measurements. Okay, not yet. So before I do any linking here, okay, what I want to do now is I'm going to mark my neckline. Now we're starting with the back. This is the back. So for the back neck width, I will come down by 1 inch. Okay, so now I'm going to create my neckline for the back. So this is my back neckline here. Okay, then next is to create the shoulder slant. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just draw a broken line down here. So we all know that shoulder slant is what? 1 inch. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch here. Then I can now create my shoulder slant. Can you see that? So this is my shoulder. Then I can now link my shoulder slants. I can link it to the bust span measurement we did here. Now I forgot to mention something. Okay, this blouse has a band. So now the length of the shoulder to the waist, I use 15 because I'm still going to add 2 inches for band. That will still make the blouse to be longer. So from here to here is 15. So this is going to be my back pattern, and it's going to be on fold. So let me cut out. Okay, before I cut out, let me quickly explain the front. So the only difference between the front and the back is the neck depth. Okay, so for the front, so the same thing. My neck width, is 3 inches. Okay, and then my shoulder measurement is 7.5. So now for the neck depth for the front, instead of 1 that we use for the back, the front will be 3 inches. So it means that for the front I have 3 by 3. Okay, this is 3 by 3 inches. So I will use my curve to draw the neckline like this. Then the same thing, we're going to have a shoulder slant here of 1 inch. So I'm going to mark my 1 inch here and have my shoulder slants. So the only difference between the front and the back is the neck depth. Can you see that? Then of course the bust span is 4. Half of my bust span is 4. And I'm just going to link the shoulder slant to my bust span here. Okay, so this is my front. So for the front, I'll be cutting 2 of these because it's open, but the back is going to be on fold. So let me quickly cut it out. Okay guys, so I've already cut it out. So this is the back. I'm going to be cut on fold, and then this is the front. I'm going to cut 2 of these. So for the front pattern, I'm going to add half inch seam allowance around the pattern. Then for the back, because the back is on fold, You're adding half inch seam allowance to the neckline, the shoulder, this other side, and the lower part. Now, quickly, to cut the collar is very simple. To cut the collar, you're going to be measuring the back neckline and the front neckline. Yes, you need to measure that. So you just place your tape around the curve of the back neckline you measure. So I have 3.25. I've written it down already. Then for the front, same thing. You place your tape from here. Meanwhile, you know my pattern does not have a seam allowance here, so I'm measuring the original measurement. So I'll just place my tape round and measure. So I have 4.75 for the back front neckline and 3.25 for the back neckline. So quickly, to cut the collar, very simple. You're going to draw two lines like this, and the height of the collar is 2 inches. So this is my center back because it's going to be on fold. Now my back neckline is 3.25 from what we measured. So I want to mark 3.25 here. We want to cut the collar. Sorry, 3.25. Okay, here. Then my front neckline is 4.75. So from this mark, I'm going to measure 4.75. So it means you cannot guess, you have to measure your own. So this is 4.75. So now I have a square. I now have a square. But you know, our neck is not straight. Our neck is curved. So we have to reshape this collar. So to do that, it's very simple. It's very simple. I'll just come up from here from this line. I'll come up by 1/2 inch. Then here too, I'm going to come up by 1/2 inch here, like this. Then this is my 1/2 inch mark, and this is my 1/2 inch mark. So I'll use the curved part of my ruler to link it like this. Can you see that? And same thing here. So this way my collar is curved and it's not straight. So this is my center back and this is my center front. I want to put an arrow like this. So now this is my collar now here. Okay, so if you now like, you can shape the collar like this if you like. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it out like this. So you can see that we don't need that lower part again. So this is going to be my collar. So if you don't want your own to be curved like this, you can follow it like this. Okay, and if you want it curved the way I did it, then you can just curve it out. Okay, so you're going to cut this collar on fold. I'm cutting 2 of this. So let me quickly do that. Okay, so to cut the peplum is very simple. You're going to fold your fabric into 2. Okay, so let me use paper to explain. This is my fabric. Okay, so if you fold it into 2 like this, then you fold again. Okay, so then we are going to now cut a full circle. So to cut a full circle, you find the radius of the circle, which is very simple. To get the radius, you're going to use your waist circumference divided by 6.28. But you know this peplum has like a button, so you need to add button allowance, extra 2 inches. My own waist is 30 plus 2, that's 32 inches. So my radius is circumference divided by 6.28. For you, just add your waist circumference, add 2 to it for button allowance, and divide it by 6.28. So I got 5 approximately. So my radius is 5 inches. Okay, now from the edge of the paper, I'm going to mark 5 inches from the fold. Okay, so like I always say, you can just mark this directly on your fabric. I'm doing this for the purpose of tutorial. If I was making this without the video, I would have just cut it directly on my fabric. So I'm marking 5 inches round. Okay, this is 5 inches like that. Then you just draw the arc. So we don't need these upper parts. Yeah, now next thing is to cut the length of the peplum. Now for the length of the peplum, don't also forget that we're going to add in a band to it. So my length of peplum, this is about 7 inches. Okay, because my band is still going to be 2 inches, so everything together is still going to add to the length of the blouse. So this is 7 inches. So I'm just marking it round. If you're marking this on your fabric, after you mark the length of peplum you want to work with, don't forget to add your seam allowance to it, both to the top and on the lower part. So this is my peplum. This is a full circle. a full circle, or what some people call 360-degree flare or peplum, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to cut out like this. So this is my peplum here. If you want to, you can make a double layer of peplum. If you want to make a double layer of peplum, that means one peplum will be longer than the other. You can make it 3 layers. Just play around it. You don't have to be very rigid. You understand? So this is my peplum here. So I'm going to cut this on my fabric. Okay, on my fabric, on my lining, and on my fabric. Then you're going to open up one part. Now let's quickly go back to the sewing tutorial. So for the sewing part, okay, this part is the back, and I have my 2 front pieces here. This is fabric. Okay, I will join them at the shoulder, right? Then this is my lining here. Okay, so this is how it looks like after joining. This is the back and the 2 front pieces, fabric. Okay, and yeah, I've also done the same thing for the lining. Okay, so when you do it like, they're going to have a very clean finish. This is also my lining. I've joined it at the shoulder. So the next step now is to make right side face right side. This is the bodice. Okay, so you're going to sew all the way down. Same on the other side here. You're going to sew all the way down. Don't touch the neckline because I want to add a collar. Then you're also going to sew the center front on both sides. So when you do that, you're going to give it a very good and clean press, okay, to make your sewing very neat. Now this is my band here. You can see that I've already finished sewing the bodice. See how clean it is and neat. Now for the band, you're going to cut out the band. The band is going to be the length of your waist plus the 2 inches for the button allowance. Now let me explain to us the placement of the band. Now you know the bodice here, the total length is 8 inches, which is my bust span, so half of it is 4. Okay, so that means I still have 3.5 inch to complete quarter of my waist circumference in 4. So when you place the band like this, you pin it together with the bodice. Okay, and then for the band you have 2 pieces, one for fabric, one for lining. So the bodice will be in between the band, the fabric and lining. Okay, so you pin it together like as I'm doing now. From where I pin, which is the center, to where the body stops is 4 inches for me. It means for quarter of my waist circumference I still have 3.5 inches left, because quarter of my waist is 7.5. okay, so after pinning the band like this, what I'll do is from here I'm going to measure 3.5 inch remaining for the front and that 3.5 inch for the back before I now place. Okay, sorry, this is the front, I beg your pardon. Sorry, this is the front. The first one is the back bodice. I'll now place it. I don't know whether I'm making sense. I don't know whether I'm making sense to you guys. Yeah, so let me just go and fix the band now. Same thing, this is 3.5. Then I'll measure 3.5 again before I now place the front bodice inside the band. You understand? I don't know whether I'm making sense to us. Good. Okay, so once I do that, this is what I'm going to have here. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to my camera. The video it became a little bit smaller, but no, not to worry. So this is how it looks here. I've already attached the bodice to the band, and then you should attach interfacing. Now I'm going to attach my peplum. So for the peplum, I did a detailed tutorial on how to make a peplum that has crinoline. I will drop the link in the description box. I did a very detailed tutorial on how to do this, so I don't need to do it all over again. So this is it here. My peplum has crinoline, just to give it structure, and it's lined. Yeah, so if you want to learn how to do that, just check the description box. I'll put the video up there. I think I posted the video about a week ago or so, so it's still very recent. So now I'm going to attach the peplum to the band. Okay, yeah, so after doing that, this is what you're going to have. So we're not done with the tutorial here. We still have collar to work with. So for the collar, yeah, so to fix the collar is very simple. Just notch the center. Then I have my fabric and lining. Actually, I use the same fabric as the lining. Okay, and very importantly, you should add stays once you make your collar to be firm and structured. So you mark the center like that. So I'll just pin it. Okay, so even if you've been sewing for 100 years, please always learn to pin before you sew. It reduces errors and sewing and losing and all of that. So I'll just go ahead and sew with 1/2 inch at the top on my collar. Okay, and then when I do that, I'm going to do like a top stitch just to make it clean. So this is my collar here. I've already finished sewing it here. So next step, I'm going to top stitch. So you're top stitching the seam allowance to the lining, okay. So you're sewing the seam allowance onto the lining, which is what I'm about to do now. I suppose we should know how to do that, so let me just do that. And then once okay, let me just quickly show us. I wanted to skip this part, but then let me just still show us anyway. So this is how to attach your seam allowance to the lining. It makes the collar, this the sewing in there. So this is it here. Okay, so next thing, you're also going to notch the lower part of the collar and give it a very good press. Okay, so once you notch, you'll be able to know the center of the collar, right? You can see how neat my work is even without ironing yet. Okay, so now I'll just go ahead and iron this part, okay, with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to attach my collar to the top. So the first part, I'm going to attach the lining first to the the neck of the top. So I'll just go ahead and sew it, okay, with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Please always pin, because if you don't pin it now, you're going to make a mistake. Then after I've done that, I will sew the two edges, the two sides, okay. So I'm trying to sew the top of the collar first. Is it the top or the side now? I don't even know. I'm running out of English. Sorry, but at least you can see what I'm doing. So once I do that, then I can now tuck it in. Okay, let me show us. Yeah, okay, I think we get what I'm doing. Like, you tuck it and then use the scissors to push it in very, and now you can now top stitch the outer part of the collar. Though in the picture we used, the collar on Linda Osifo's top was a little bit smaller, but I prefer my own collar to be bigger. So yeah, sorry. I think so. I'm just trying to make the collar here, and that, yeah, the hair it is. So I just want us to see the the sewing process of the collar. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, okay, so this is it. So you can see how simple it was to make this top. I actually made this top. I made it within, I think, about 2 hours. The cutting and the sewing. Yes, I made it last night actually, and I was like, I was going to post this video today. And yeah, thank God I was able to do that. So this is the concluding part of the sewing. Okay, yeah. So once you do this, you still want to go ahead and give it a very good press. And yeah, the last thing to do is just to fix button on the peplum. That's all, so that it can overlap. So that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned one or two things. Please and please don't forget to subscribe if you're a new subscriber. And then if you're an old subscriber, don't forget to share, like, and comment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.